When you mess up, how do you react? Do you pretend there's nothing wrong? Do you hope it will go away? Do you try and cover up your tracks? You'd have thought that he'd have known better than to assume that God either didn't see what he had done or chose to overlook it. He was soon confronted by the prophet Nathan, and Psalm 51 reveals David's response when his eyes were opened to the magnitude of what he had done. The psalm offers us two particularly instructive insights. Firstly, David saw immediately that it was against God that he had sinned, even more so than against Bathsheba and her husband. For David was God's appointed king, and he had betrayed the trust placed in him. Do we have such a big view of God that we recognise he is in all we are and do? So, when we get things wrong, he is our first port of call to say sorry. Once things are squared with God, we're better placed to start the process of forgiveness and reconciliation with those we have hurt. Secondly, having come clean with God, David didn't wallow in his sin. He dusted himself down and offered praise to God, confident that however heinous his crime, he was forgiven and could get on with life. David's phrase, "Open my lips, Lord, and my mouth will declare your praise," has been part of Anglican liturgy for centuries. But we need to look closer, for the words actually suggest that, having worked through a process of repentance and forgiveness, it's God's initiative that is needed to reignite David's worship life. He didn't hang around until he was in the right mood. Worship is not something optional for when we feel like it. It is our duty and our joy at all times to praise a God who is worthy. David knew this, and it was the key to being released from the chains of his guilt and his sin.